place would lift if Constitution Hill were to go and win this. Jack, you're going to be right. You're going to have a 20-1 winner.
Start a little bit of a bigger price, but I think he will go and win. My best bets at the Cheltenham Festival in years, Sam.
Here we are then, Next Gen Racing here for our Cheltenham Festival preview shows. That's right, we're previewing all the action from the Cheltenham Festival across the next 7 days. We've got some fantastic videos coming your way. You're obviously watching our day one preview, but we've got lots of day 2, day 3, day 4 coming over the next few days. We've also got a handicap video coming out on Friday, and then one of your favourite videos as viewers is our top 5 bets video that will be coming out on Saturday. Jack, we are finally here. This is it. We're previewing all of the big races on day one. Really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's come about. It's taken its time to come about, as it always does. But yeah, it's finally here. We got a lot of good racing ahead, a lot to get stuck into. So looking forward to hopefully finding a few winners.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice, short, snappy preview of each day. This, what Jack and I do, we've taken the handicaps out. Like I say, we'll do that in a separate video and give some of our best selections from the handicaps on Friday. But we're going to preview the big race on day one, which will involve the Supreme Novices Hurdle, the Arkle Novices Chase, the Mares Hurdle, and the big one, the Champion Hurdle, on the Tuesday. So, Jack, we start off with the 120. It is the Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle, a grade 1, just over 2 miles. And Kopek de Board, really impressive at the Dublin Race Festival. He's currently the 4-5 favourite. Romeo Coolio and Salvatore Monday are 6-1. Work Ahead is 12-1. William Money is 16s. We're looking at 20s bar these. Now, Jack, we know from all of the videos that we've been doing, we did a review after the Dublin Race Festival. We've had our ante-post series going. We know how much of a big fan you are of Kopek de Board. Obviously, if you're on at some of the fancy ante-post prices, he looks an excellent play. What do we make of him as the 4-5 favourite currently?
I think he's going to win. I think he'll get favourite backers off to a good start, but I can't see him starting odds on. I think there's enough in there, the likes of Romeo Coolio, Work Ahead, William Money, to probably push him out to odds against or 11-10, somewhere like that. So I probably wouldn't be getting involved in him a week out or a few days out. I wait till near the time, especially if he's sweating before the off and he's getting down to the start and in the preliminaries, it's all getting a little bit too much for him. So I think he will start a little bit of a bigger price, but I think he will go and win. His win in December was fantastic. I mean, he smashed into every single hurdle that was in front of him, but he still recorded a really nice time there and jumped much better. And again, recorded a fantastic time at the Dublin Racing Festival. I think he does have £5, £6, £7 in hand of the likes of Romeo Coolio, Work Ahead, and the rest there. I think Romeo Coolio is a deserved second favourite, well enough in the future champion novice hurdle at Christmas. The time was decent again, but I think he's got a little bit to find. I know it's a very tenuous form line, but beat Blue Devassi by 9 lengths there. He was then beaten by 38 by Kopek de Board, but I do think he's got a little bit to find. Really don't like Salvatore Monday at all. I think they went an absolute cruel last time out. He was hyped up. I think he shouldn't be anywhere near the top of the market, to be honest. Even the maiden winner, Kapajai Pike, recorded a quicker time on the day. And I think Work Ahead's one who you're probably going to want to talk about as well. I think he's probably the shrewd man's pick. I think it's fair to say recorded a good time at Christmas, pretty much identical to Kopek de Board from the first hurdle to the line, carrying £5 more than Kopek de Board on the day. There's definitely going to be a lot of pace on. There's going to be a lot of them that want to go forward. Going to turn into a bit of a stamina test. And I think Kopek de Board shortly is going to be getting favourite backers off to a good start, Sam.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really tough to beat, Jack. I really do. I think I was there in Dublin, and it was just spectacular to watch what he did. The way he pulled away was just exceptional. So he's the one to beat. Salvatore Monday is just interesting because, you know, a month before Kopek de Board went and won at the DRF, we were kind of talking about him being the favourite. And look, should he be the favourite? What is there that can beat him? And then Willie Mullins sends out this thing, and suddenly we've got an exceptional horse at the top of the market. Whether Salvatore Monday and the hype of him being one of the most excellent workhorse and all this does come to fruition, he does put it up to Kopek de Board. We'll wait and see. But Jack's mentioned there the value play in the race and potentially the shrewd man picks, but it is Work Ahead. I mean, I was talking about Hart a few Sundays back, Jack, and Henry's horses are starting to run well once again. And I do think Henry de Bromhead's in for a really good festival, but I'm not sure what this horse has actually done wrong to be the price that he is. He was third in a 25-runner maiden at Navan in testing conditions on his first start over hurdles. And then at Christmas, he hosed up by 7 lengths, beating William Money, who then went and hacked up a few weeks back at Punchestown. And Cowabunga had a right battle with William Money prior to that win. Obviously, Cowabunga's not going to the festival at all, but the form does stack up. It really does. And if you're on, like I say, if you're on Cope at the board at fancy prices, fair play. But if you want a value play in the race, it has to be Workhead. And I think Jack kind of does agree with me there. It's a decent novices hurdle. This is actually better than I thought it was a few months back. It's actually a lot better race than I thought it was a few months back. And maybe the form of Henry de Bromhead, if maybe just the fact that they were lacking in form the yard, that's the reason this horse is at 12 to 1 currently. But I think this horse will be a lot shorter on the day, and I think it's a superb each way selection. So really, Jack and I both in agreement that Cope at the board, definitely the one to beat in this race, but potentially a decent each way selection could be Workhead in the Supreme. Right, so we move on now from novice hurdlers to novice chasers. We've got the Arkle Challenge Trophy Novices Chase. This is a 2-mile Grade 1 at 2 o'clock from Cheltenham. Madgeborough is currently topping the market 8 to 13. Lotus Sud is 5 to 1. Django Bay is 9 to 1. Only by Night is 11s. Ballyburn won't be going here but 16. Touch Me Not also 16s. Firefox is 18s. And 20s bar these. Now, Madgeborough is obviously a fascinating one. It was going to be Sergino versus Madgeborough. That's what we were hoping to see. Obviously, Sergino not going to be going to Cheltenham, which is a massive shame. He was the odds-on favourite for this race prior to Madgeborough taking that place. Now, Madgeborough at the DRF did everything that he needed to do, bar jump very well. This is the horse's issue. He just doesn't jump exceptionally well. And I'm kind of in the camp, Jack, at the moment where if he jumps round and stays on his feet, he probably will just go and win this. But at 8 to 13, he's just not worth taking that price, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. Couldn't agree more. He's the best of a bad bunch, really, isn't he? But
Yeah.
you've got the credit. You're betting 8 to 13 that he stays on his feet, really. And you've got a couple of decent enough, probably 2-milers in there. Lotus Sud, of course. I mean, he got the job done last time out, beating Rubo, who then, of course, went and won next time out. So I don't think that's a bad piece of form. But look, as you say, Madgeborough is jumping. Do you want to be taking 8 to 13 about that? I don't really think so. And the last 5-year-old to win the Arkle was actually in 2006. Voy poured Estedes a little bit before my time, but 16 have run since then. 2 were favourites. So he's got a little bit to go against there and a little bit of inexperience to overcome. For me, I think Django Bay is going to be the selection for me. Nicky Henderson knows how to win the Arkle. Look, he's 5 from his 19 runners there. And I just think it takes a very good horse to win over fences at Cheltenham first time out. Yes, it was over 2.5 miles. Yes, he jumped well. He didn't jump amazingly. But look, he's absolutely trounced a very good horse, Sarah in Springwell Bay, who himself would probably have a chance if he came here. So yes, he didn't get the job done last time out at Sandown. I suppose you can say what you want about the ride and how he finished his race there in the Silly Hours, but I don't think the drop back to 2 miles will necessarily be against him. I don't think he absolutely attacks his fences, but I don't think he's the worst jumper in the world. So I think 9 to 1 about Django Bay is actually a decent each way price, just in case Madgeborough decides to smash into his few on the way around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at this race on the day because my selection here is reliant on the horse actually going. But I thought one that could be a big price was Firefox at 18 to 1. He was obviously third in last year's Supreme, and he was the one from the race. I watched the race back. I know it wasn't a good Supreme, Jack, but I watched it back and thought he's the one that I'm quite excited about for next season going over a fence. I thought he could be a really decent horse. Now, he was also second to Mystical Power, wasn't he? Both at Aintree and Punchdown. That was over hurdles, but he came out and won on Chasing Debut. That was over 2 mile 4. And I mean, obviously, we've lost the Turners now, and potentially that was going to be the race that they would have targeted had the Turners Novices Chase been in place. But he's then been running over 2 miles, and he was second to Atlantique at Nace in early January, and then was third in the Irish Arkle, which suggests running in those races that this would be the next obvious step, going from an Irish Arkle to the Arkle at Cheltenham. Now, both of those runs over 2 miles were on soft ground, and obviously the Supreme last year was run on much quicker ground. I do think that will suit him. Whether he does go here, I don't know, but I think he's in to run a really decent race in that Arkle. His other option, he's entered in that Jack Richards Novices handicap chase. If he were to go there, it would be fascinating. He could be well handicapped and stepping back up to that 2 mile 4 trip that he's obviously won over at the start of the season. So it'd be interesting. But if he were to run and he was, a double figure price on the day, I think in the Arkle, I would take Firefox at a decent price. So Jack and I are both looking to take on Madra. I do, again, kind of in agreement that he is the most likely winner if he stays on his feet. But you wouldn't want to be whacking this horse in doubles and treble. He is the potential horse that could go and wreck a double or treble accumulator on the day, because he will likely make mistakes, and it depends how bad that mistake is. So we'll wait and see. But Django Bay 11-1, a decent each way selection, and I will be with Firefox in the Arkle Novices Chase. Now the Mare's Hurdle is what we have next. Be interesting to see how we preview this. Obviously, there are plenty of Cheltenham previews out there at the moment, not knowing what's actually going to happen with this market. But the 320 at Cheltenham is the Close Brothers Mare's Hurdle, Grade 1 over 2 mile, 4 furlong. And the market at the time of recording have Brighter Days Ahead as the 2-1 favourite. Jay de Grugy is 9-4. Lossymouth at 7-2. July Flower 5-1. Cargeezy 8-1. And then we're looking at double figures about the rest of the field. And I say it's going to be interesting, Jack, how we preview this race. But when I was doing my notes over the last few days, I basically previewed it without Lossymouth and Brighter Days Ahead in here. I'm guessing you did the same.
Yeah, 100%. I suppose we can preview it and hope that common sense prevails and that Brighter Days Ahead goes to the champion hurdle, and I suppose likewise with Lossymouth. But no, it's still a good race nonetheless. I know a lot of people try and quote the Mare's Hurdle for even having its place in the festival. And I think probably one of the bets of the week actually comes in here at a pretty decent price. Understand why Jade Grugy's favourite after her win at Punchestown. Willie said, of course, she's going to come on a lot for that. I think she's short enough, though. I think the main race to look at here is the race from Christmas at Leopardstown, where July Flower went and beat Calaconte on July Flower's first start for Henry de Bromhead. The race completely fell into July Flower's hands on that day. They went really quick early. They went at breakneck speed, and Rachel Blackmore delivered a perfect ride from the rear of the field. But it's actually the second horse, Calaconte, who was beating 4 lengths on the day there, giving July Flower £5. I thought that was a tremendous run. There was 3 of them at the head of the field. They went quick early. She was the only one who was in contention of actually winning there, and she was cruising coming around the bend 2 out. She would have gone heavy odds on in play. It looked like all she had to do was press the button, and Danny Gilligan had to press the button, and the race would have been hers. But the stamina did kind of tell towards July Flower there, who was a stout stayer in France. But I think Calaconte's lost nothing in defeat there. I think good ground, or goodish ground, which we're probably going to have on the day, even if it's good to soft, probably on the side of good. I think that's going to be absolutely perfect for her. She proves she stays 2.5 miles. She's a solid jumper. She's got a good turn of footy if they do go a crawl, and she'll most likely be settled prominently. She's 14-1. I think that is an absolutely cracking bet, Sam. I think she's a seriously good each way bet here.
Yeah, I didn't need to preview this for too long because I went through and looked at the race, and Jack, you're going to be right. You're going to have a 20-1 winner on our ante-post series. You obviously put the horse up at 20-1. I do think you're going to be right. You've said it all there, and I think she's definitely. I think she's going to go off single figures for sure on the day, especially if these two come out. As soon as these two, if they do come out, she's going to go single figures. There's no doubt about that. I think Jade de Grugy at the top of the market potentially is worthy, but I would say this is probably one of the most open grade ones of the whole week. It is an exciting race. Maybe we're not seeing the most exceptional mares in here by all means, but this is the debate where do we get rid of the mares race so we kind of force them to go into a champion hurdle? But yeah, look, I think it'll be a decent race. I think Jack's right. Calaconte is a really good value play in this. And I would be taking, as much as I do like the fact that Henry de Bromhead could come back to form and July Flower does look a good horse and did beat Calaconte, I think that potentially they could be the 1-2. It wouldn't surprise me if those two ran a really decent race. So yeah, both of us agreeing they're decent each way selection. Jack put me onto this a few weeks back and obviously on our ante-post series, but Calaconte now currently 14-1 best price. Now the final race we look at, Jack, is the big one, and hopefully this does turn out to be a big one. The 4 o'clock is the Unibet Champion Hurdle. Grade 1, just over 2 miles. Constitution Hill is the 8-13 favourite best price. That price has shortened since the gallop at Kempton earlier last week. Bright Days Ahead is 9-4. Lossymouth is 4-1. Statesman, last year's winner, is 6-1. And then a massive jump to 33-1 and bigger about the rest of them in this field. I'm going to ask you a question here, Jack. And I've seen so many people say to me, I can't wait to get stuck into all the boosts on Constitution Hill going even money on the day and all this. I think if Bright Days Ahead and Lossymouth come into this race, it wouldn't shock me if he was just even money standardly in the markets. Where do you think he's now the right price, or do you think he might get a little bit bigger than 8-13?
I think he'll start 6-4 on or 8-11 on the day.
Okay.
And I think Brighter Days Ahead will be, provided she goes 6-4, 7-4.
Yeah.
That 6-4, 13-8, somewhere around there. But I can't see Constitution. I think bookmakers will want to take him on, but I can't
Yes.
see him starting too much bigger than 11 to 8 on.
Yeah, so it's a fascinating race. It really is, and from a pocket point of view for both Jack and I, but we would love to see Bright Days Ahead go here and Bright Days Ahead go and win this. But from a racing point of view, there is one thing that we would want: the place would lift if Constitution Hill were to go and win this. Like, he is an exceptional horse. You can take what you want from that gallop at Kempton, obviously early last week, and Nicky Henderson saying it was a frightening gallop. He did look really good. Whether he is right back to where he was when we saw him at his best before last season, we just don't know. But Bright Days Ahead, Jack, was so good at Christmas.
She was absolutely electric, and I, as you say, I really do want to see Constitution Hill win. No one wants to see these greats, these champions get beaten. But if there is one horse mare who can do it, I really do think it is Brighter Days Ahead. I think they're going to put King of Kingsfield in there, proper Aidan O'Brien style, go in at breakneck speed early doors. Look, I'm not looking a thing into Constitution Hill's mistake at the last time out, or the way he jumped the last in the champion hurdle when he won it, and he was a little bit iffy. I'm not looking into that at all. He is by far, sorry, not by far, but he's definitely the one to beat. But if he is going to get beaten, I think the way this race could map out, Bright Days Ahead is going to be following King of Kingsfield every stride. They're going to go at breakneck speed. And Bright Days Ahead was even a little bit keen, and they went rapid at Leopardstown last time out, Sam, and no one could live with King of Kingsfield. Bright Days Ahead made it look absolutely easy. She gets £7 off Constitution Hill. It is a price point of view as well. She is treble 3 times the price of Constitution Hill, and I think if there is one horse who can beat Constitution Hill, it is her. So I'm going to be in the Brighter Days Ahead camp come Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, so I don't want to make all the points all again, but we do need to talk about Lossiemouth and State Man. They were obviously in that potential battle, and it did look like it could be a right battle at the DRF until Lossiemouth came down the back. Lossiemouth has been outlined for this race almost since she won at the festival last year, and it would have been fascinating to see how good the performance could have been at the DRF had she stayed on her feet. And it was an unlikely mistake. She's not a horse that does make these mistakes. I give State Man no chance in this race, but I do, for some reason in my head, have a small worry about Lossiemouth, because I don't think she was at her best at Kempton at Christmas. I definitely don't. I think she's better than what she showed, but I'm also a little bit wary that Constitution Hill might be better than what he showed as well. So if they both took a step forward, whether it be the same result and exactly the same distance, who knows? But I am slightly worried that Lossiemouth might run a big race, Jack. What do we make of Lossiemouth and State Man in here?
I'd probably be a little bit more damning on Lossiemouth, to be honest. She was beaten 2.5 lengths by Constitution Hill at Kempton, and I think she's probably got. Yeah, she was getting £7, of course. She's probably got to find £10 to even come close to Constitution Hill. He did it pretty much. He did it easily at Kempton that day, and yes, of course, she gets the weight like Bright Days Ahead does. Yes, it's Willie Mullins. You can never really count him out, but look, and he's going to have she's going to have Paul Townend on, but I think this is genuinely a 2-horse race. She's going to have to keep up with probably a King of Kingsfield and Brighter Days Ahead and Constitution Hill, who are all going to probably be going pretty quick early, and I think it's a big ask for her.
If these 4 do turn up, this is a race for the ages. It really is. It's going to be an absolute belter. So we go, 4 races covered, all the 4 big races. Let us know down in the comments. Do let us know who you fancy on day one. Even if it's in a handicap, we're happy to see those in the comments for day one. And do subscribe as always. Jack, we need to give a best bet on day one from the races that we covered. And I'm kind of hoping you'll go the way that I hope you will, so I can go the other way. So I'll let you go first with your best bet. Who are you going to put up as the best bet on day one?
I think Calaconte at 14 to 1 in the Mares Hurdle is one of the best bets at the Cheltenham Festival in years, Sam. I think she's a cracking price.
Well, there we go. This means that we can agree on our best bets, and I will take the chance on Brighter Days Ahead in the Champion Hurdle at 4 o'clock on the Tuesday. Obviously, there are plenty of decent each-way selections from myself at the start, but I want to go with something that's maybe a little bit more solid, and Brighter Days Ahead will be that. So there we go, covered as quick as we can. Day one's big races all done and dusted. We'll be back at 6 p.m. tomorrow for our Day 2 preview. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you again very shortly.